Hello and welcome to the Apple Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Wes Hilliard speaking, and I'm joined once again by William Gallagher. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Clean My Mac by MacPaw, Claude by Anthropic, and Scribe. If you don't want to hear anything about ads, you can join Apple Insider Plus, where we're going to be discussing green bubbles. Some thoughts behind them. You'll see why on the show. There's more to it, but stick around for that. Apple Insider Plus gets you an ad-free experience and bonus content at the end of every show. So you can subscribe to that through Apple Podcasts or our Patreon. William, how are you this week?
Well, I'm okay. We're talking in video now, possibly. And I was thinking, how do we do that? And then I thought, nuts. I was trying to do an in-video gag there when a light came on behind me and I pushed the wrong button. Yeah, I'm rubbish. That's how I am today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to remember that I'm on a camera and I need to undo all of my military training of sitting perfectly still like a statue. So if you do see this on YouTube or maybe Apple Podcast video, just understand that this is our first video. I've been on video podcasts with Andrew a few times on HomeKit, now Smart Home Insider. It's great. My nose decides that it wants to run almost every single time, so that's always very fun. You have to wait for it. Like there's like you have to take a shot every time I need a tissue. I'm joking. I think I'll be fine today. But yeah, keep an eye out for us to grow into this medium. William and I have worked very hard over the last few weeks to get our offices video ready. I mean, I bought a house just for this occasion, obviously. Yes. So, William, how are you feeling about your setup?
Well, fine, but I'd like to say, we're not forgetting audio is where we started, yes. Audio is where we're continuing. And in fact, if you are listening on audio, I'm the roguishly handsome one. Okay.
Don't worry, we're not going to start like showing things on camera and having to describe them and being awkward. This is still an audio show. We're just letting you sickos out there see video if you decide to. I think it worked out pretty well. It's come together slowly. My office, it has been a very busy few weeks, so I'm glad to see it finally coming together. And anyway, you don't want to hear about all that. Like I said, just give us a break here as we grow into this medium. Audio might sound a little different. I had to change how my microphone is set up. Just give us some slack here. We'll get there. But let's dive in. First, some phone news. The long-awaited pre-order window is closed. You will finally get... William, are you ready for this?
I don't think I am, but...
Your Trump Mobile T1 Golden Android phone.
Yeah, I'm hanging on for the T2. That's what I'm doing.
The T2.
Isn't there something in the Terminator films called the T2? That's what I'd like. One of those, please.
I believe the T1 is actually the model of the Android sent to kill. Anyway, so yeah. This phone has looked like 17 different phones because they didn't actually have a model ready when they put up pre-orders. They finally landed on this cheap Chinese mobile brand phone. It looks like it's basically the HTC U24 Pro from 2024, and they're charging premium prices for it. It's like a $450, $500 phone. That's actually worth probably about $120. And if you want the expensive mobile contract to go with it, you're going to get $20 worth of contract for $50 a month. So congratulations, everyone. Job well done. Let's jump into some real news. Just had to clown on that a little bit because it's so silly. At least people are getting something because they did put in a deposit. So
$60 million of pre-orders and things. People want this, and now it looks like finally they're finally going to get it.
Yeah, we'll get into some Android stuff later, but first, OS 26.5, that release cycle has finally occurred. No extra Apple Intelligence features. It looks like we are going down path number 2. We've been talking about this for a while. There were 2 directions this could go. Apple could have pre-announced some new AI features, and the Gemini upgraded trained Apple Intelligence, Apple Foundation models. We never got it. That is now clearly reserved for WWDC, which, again, as I've said, I'm disappointed because I want to play around with it, but I'm fine with because the longer this stuff takes, the more refined it'll get. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be as close to perfect as it can, but it doesn't need to be out today. The industry increasingly shows us that this stuff just isn't that relevant to customers. What is in OS 26.5 though, William?
Oh, actually, because what you're saying there about it doesn't have to be out today, and I've previously said Apple has made Siri worse and all this stuff. Remember, I'm in the UK, so I don't automatically remember these things. I asked Siri the other day, when is President's Day? And it told me, William, it's already happened. It was February 2024. So, yeah, I need an improved Siri sooner. And I did upgrade to 26.5. I didn't expect anything new in that line. Isn't there a new wallpaper? I haven't explored.
So we have the Pride Luminescence wallpaper,
yes.
which lets you choose up to, I believe, 15 colors for it to kind of cycle through. It's a very nice wallpaper, and I think it lets you play around with it. If you have different flags that represent you, you get to kind of create your own flag. So that's really cool.
Cool.
But there's also the new subscriptions. We described it before. Now you can get annual pricing, but with monthly payments through a contract, more or less. You're going to be committed to 12 months. You can't pull out early. You're required to pay it. And if you don't, your account will get locked. So use at your own risk. But it does mean...
Sorry, on that point, it's only us three here. I've got to confess this. I had, for a separate client, a charity I work for, I had to sign up for a stock photo library for a month. And somehow I managed to nudge the annual version instead. And I have objected to them charging me again when I wasn't expected to. And they have said, I can sort this out by paying them more money. So, be careful with your subscriptions.
Yeah, we had something like this recently, unrelated entirely, where my wife wanted to order some new work uniforms because, more uniforms means less times doing laundry during the week,
Sure. Yeah.
Clicked our old address by mistake. Oh, that's fine. We'll just buy the other uniform with the correct address, cancel the other order. It says in the fine print, you're not able to cancel the order because it immediately goes to our warehouse and begins packaging. Okay, well, let us change the address. You cannot change the contents of your order. So I guess we have to just go wait on our old porch and snatch the package as it arrives. But if we do...
So I'm just thinking, whoever bought the house from you has now got a nice present. And I'm thinking back to all these times that you've said you'd send me your old Macs that you're not using. Now you give your neighbours uniforms. You don't give me anything.
Nobody lives there yet. But the reason why I bring this up is because they said, but if you want to return the item, it's $8. We have to pay to return it, so it's just we're going to keep it, whatever. But very, very silly stuff. I hate it when these kinds of things come up, but there's no such thing as customer service anymore. And I'm just glad to see that Apple has this subscription option because I'm going to use it when it pops up. It hasn't yet for any of mine. I really wish Apple would implement it on Apple One and Apple Care One.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What are you expecting to use it for then? Because I hadn't looked into this at all.
Well, I have annual subscriptions that aren't that expensive. I think I'm paying $15 a year for Pokemon Home, which you're going to love this. It is a cloud service that lets you store all the Pokemon you've caught in all the Pokemon games.
Okay. Of course.
But it's like...
No home should be without one, but okay.
$15 a year for that. I just subscribed to Indigo, a new Blue Sky Mastodon crossover client that lets you see both timelines in one app. I highly recommend it. $35 a year, right? Like, I don't need that broken up over 12 months. But then you have Apple Creator Studio, $129 a year, which isn't incredibly expensive, but again, broken up over 12 months, that's, it's less impact on your pocket all at once. And maybe some savings thrown in as well, because that's the point of the annual subscription. If you're just doing it annually, then you're just back to the, you're not really getting any savings out of it. So, but the one thing that was here in OS 26.5 is RCS end-to-end encryption beta.
Yes. I know about this because I read your article about it, and I went in thinking, it's the green bubbles, blue bubbles, don't care. Because I'm in the UK where actually iMessage and stuff is significantly less used than it is in the States. Everybody's on WhatsApp, and I think WhatsApp is awful and ugly, but you have to use it because everybody uses it. No interest in any of this. I thought, very nice, it's all been sorted out, but you've said, I meant to ask you this, you've said, no, it isn't sorted out. It's not sorted out at all. What's
So it introduces new problems even as it tries to solve some. You'll have to just go read my piece. This isn't I hate green bubbles conversation, because it's not true. Like, we have Android friends and we've added some to our previously iMessage only group chats, and it's changed it to an RCS group chat, which mostly went over okay. It glitches out. It's every third message it says someone changed the name of your group chat, which no one did. And every time someone uses the quote unquote wrong emoji to react to something, it says so and so reacted with a peace sign emoji, right? Because Android RCS only has like 5 reactions, and it's very specific reactions. And if you don't use those, it gets
right?
sent as a text bubble explaining who reacted to what. It's very frustrating. I want Apple to fix this in a way that makes it just obfuscate all of these weird, rough edges of RCS. I don't care what Android sees on the other end. That's Google's problem. But Apple could make this so much more seamless and pretty. And I think they're working on it, funny enough. I mean, this whole encryption thing was Apple's idea. So, because Google was never going to do that. I had some people commenting on this story saying, of course Google cares. Like, no, they really don't. They made a separate branch of RCS just for Google Android messages that is encrypted only when you're messaging other people with Android messages. They created their own silo when it's supposed to be an open standard. And then when Apple came in and took the open standard and encrypted it, Google got mad. So I don't want to hear about, oh, Google actually cares. Like, all of this is happening because of Apple basically stepping in and fixing Google's mess at this point.
Yeah, Google is looking out for us. That's what
Uh-huh.
Google is. I think you're forgetting that there again. Well,
When you look at their search engine, tell me if they're looking out for us.
Google says that 28% of its AI summaries are wrong, and I think that's wrong actually. But okay, why are you putting
All
it
AI
out? When,
has Yeah, all AI has an average failure rate of 30%, and there's really no overcoming that. It doesn't matter how many checks and balances there are. It is the nature of the technology, and the sooner that everyone can just come to terms with the fact that they're dealing with an answer engine, an autocomplete engine that can be wrong 30% of the time, the sooner we'll get past this whole AI fear random BS. But there's not much to say about 26.5. It's obviously laying groundwork for things. We're going to have ads in Apple Maps, which I don't care. Google Maps already has ads. The ads are going to be unobtrusive. And if anything, we need to get past this whole anti-advertising nonsense. We've talked about it ad nauseum on the show. Do you have anything to add on that topic?
only that at first I thought more ads, great, but then this thing of they'll come up when you're searching for things. It's not like you'll have to bat them out the way to see where you're going. And
Pop-up
then
ad. Would you like some McDonald's fries?
the other, where was I going the other day when there was something wrong and for some reason I had to use, someone had sent me a link to a Google Maps thing to get to wherever it was, and I couldn't figure out how to transfer that to Apple Maps. I thought, what the hell? I've got Google Maps on the phone. I used that and I stared at Google Maps trying to find how to tell it to go. Like, that's where I want to be, go. And like the design of it was killing me. I didn't even notice any ads. So yeah, I think I'm going to be fine with Apple Maps and the odd.
The advertising in Apple Maps is two sections. There's a featured so when you open the sidebar, basically to do a search, there's going to be a placement ad in the suggestion list, and there's going to be a placement ad in the search results. It's pretty much it. You're not going to get a popover. You're not going to get a coupon saying, go to Wendy's. I see you're near a golf course. You know, like, that's not what's happening here. And I think when people hear advertising, their mind goes 30 different directions, especially since advertising has become synonymous with those interstitial ads on YouTube or Netflix or whatever. That is a very annoying form of advertising most people want to pay to get rid of. That is not what we're talking about here. This is going back to the whole billboard thing. I think as long as Apple can keep their advertising to be billboards in spirit and in implementation, I'm fine with it, right? I like a good billboard, right? We got a magazine in the mail the other day from our local commerce advertising all of the business. It was just one big advert, but it had a bunch of listings of businesses and places to visit in the local town. And it's just like, if I didn't know what any of this was, this was a great resource, right? There are times when advertising is welcome, and we need to understand that.
Yes. I must have said this to you when it happened, but I mean, actual billboards, as in by the side of the motorway billboards, when the Barbie film was coming out, I wasn't driving, I was a passenger. I applauded because it was just solid pink, and then the date about didn't say Barbie, didn't say it was a film, but it was exactly the right pink that you knew what it was. And I thought, yes, no, that was art as well as advertising. So yeah, I'm happy with the odd billboard.
Yeah, it really just comes down to like how in your face is it. I'm understanding of people who get frustrated when the settings app gets a notification bubble and then you open it and it says Apple Music 3 months, and it's like, no, don't ever put a notification bubble on an app because I don't have your subscription, right? Like I can understand how that's a step too far. Now, but I can also understand how from Apple's perspective, how else are you going to tell people about the service? There's people on Earth who don't know what Apple Music is or that they can subscribe to it. It's just, I don't know. It's baffling to me that people get so upset, but it's also understandable because of what Google and the web did to advertising, making it this ugly, intrusive, terrible thing full of tabloid ads, basically. I saw someone commenting on Blue Sky earlier that they feel that they hate it when they get the gross ads that follow them around, like a toenail fungus is just a giant photo. Oh. And it's an ad they see on every website because I don't know, like why is that an ad? And why did Google allow it? It's because Google doesn't care, people. They don't care. iOS 26.
Yes.
So how do you feel about this? I wrote a review of looking back at the year of iOS 26 as we wait for iOS 27.
Because funny, I've written a review about macOS 26, macOS Tahoe. I haven't read your iOS. I'm kind of fine with it. I think the thought with the Mac was that it was big redesign, and after a bit it's like, yeah, it's not that big really, is it? And there were various features that I thought were going to be more useful than they turned out to be, but still, if I go back to the old version on another Mac, I miss Tahoe. I think I'd be the same with iOS 26. I love live activities, but I couldn't actually tell you whether that came in with 26 or I was going to say 25 then. It came in with 18.
It's been around for longer than that, I believe. The iPhone 15 was the first with the dynamic island, I believe, and that would have been live activities.
Yeah. More recently, Apple Watch workouts and things have started appearing on my screen, and that I really like. Yeah.
You also, there's WatchOS got hints, which I very much appreciate. But iOS, the big story obviously is Liquid Glass. The award-winning Liquid Glass.
Indeed. Yes.
I want to point out as we record.
Yeah. I can't remember what ABC stands for. It's a New York group of designers. They have an annual thing. The absolute pinnacle is the Black Cube Award. Yeah, the Black Cube Award they give, and Apple has won that in the past. But it got a gold cube this week for liquid design. Yeah.
Yeah, Liquid Glass, they got some Apple TV rebranding awards and some ads. I love the I'm Not Remarkable
I hadn't even seen that before
it's one of those touching ones that you just really like. You've probably seen it. Well, I think we might have even discussed it here, but it's just one of those Apple ads that just really punch you. It's just
right.
It's really nice. It's really nice. But I wanted to approach this review from two angles. One, y'all are silly about Liquid Glass. No one cares. The only people who really, really have an opinion about Liquid Glass are the people on the internet. And the only people who are not like big nerds following AppleInsider who have an opinion about Liquid Glass are the people who heard other people say Liquid Glass is bad and then decided to agree with them. In a perfect vacuum, people just don't care. The people I've interacted with, in fact, usually are like, wow, this is really cool. I like this new look. I like that I can change to a clear icon system and have this colorful background and have it shine through. Not that many apps that people use sunk into the Liquid Glass. So many people open their phone and then open Facebook or open Snapchat. And that's their interaction with their smartphone. Open TikTok, right?
Right. So
That's what they care about. Liquid Glass is a UI layer over the rest of the phone, and I like it, but it's not the story as much as people want it to be the story. The real
except that thing
story.
you said there, sorry, I talked over you again. That thing
You're
there
fine.
of people liking transparency and things like that. I'd wondered if you weren't following Apple, if you didn't know this, how you'd even know that there was a transparent option for you. You have to go digging to turn on transparency and things, but you're
Well,
finding people do.
see, there's this whole social media thing, and I know that I'm not really an active social media user beyond Blue Sky, but there are other social medias out there, and many of them involve things like Reels on Instagram, and then
Oh, I see. Right.
TikTok is just Reels.
I'm banned from.
Snapchat has stories, right? So there are things where you can be in social media where other people outside of your bubble share things. And one of the popular things to share is look at this cool thing you can do with your phone. Even if you're not a nerd, you will get those videos from time to time.
Right. That makes sense.
And people stumble into them, or maybe one of their friends is a nerd and it shares it. Like it gets out there. Also, some people actually do tinker around with their devices. I mean, I know that I'm an exception to the rule because I go through the settings app every time there's an update to see if anything changed. But there are people who are like, oh, I want to customize my home screen. Let me do this.
Right.
And if they search for customize my home screen, now one of the things that'll pop up is iOS 26 transparent icons. So
I'm not actually convinced if I went through the settings app that I would notice differences. I mean, they've got to be pretty big before I'd remember what it used to be before. Am I just a freak? No, there's probably a
you're
middle ground.
more normal than me. But the Games app came and went with a fart noise. Basically, this is one of those apps that I was excited for. If you go back and listen to when Apple announced it before we had it, I was like, this is interesting because I would love a game hub on my phone that manages all these things, lets me manage social stuff in games, and a centralized hub. Backbone has been doing it for a while. It's a paid service. You have to pay like some amount of money per year to even access it. Apple giving away for free made the most sense. It came out and they've barely touched it since. It's gotten some updates. They've rearranged some of the panes, but Apple Games has mostly just been It doesn't seem to have any understanding of me in a way that I want a game launcher to. When I open my PlayStation, it is front and center. This is the game you're currently playing, and here's all of the games you played last. And that is all you see. You scroll down and you get the news feed, and you go to a friends section to see social feeds. But your main page is the games feed. And then on Apple Games, you open it, and it's like, have you thought of challenging your friends to a crossword battle? No, I'm here to play Genshin Impact. Leave me alone. So I don't know what they're going for there. It feels like a marketing tool more than an actual interface, and that's kind of sad to me. I hope that they get some real gamers in there to teach them how to make a good interface.
This episode is brought to you by Clean My Mac from MacPaw. And before I could talk to you about it, I needed to use this again. Okay, there's surely something wrong with my Mac Studio. I don't know what it is. But when I went to edit this episode of the Apple Insider podcast, Final Cut Pro said, no, not enough space. I think it actually said you can try, but good luck. I did the obvious things, of course. I deleted a couple of large files that I could remember having and not needing. But I don't actually know why I did that because, well, the next thing I did was far more sensible. I ran Clean My Mac. Clean My Mac looks at your Mac storage, okay, and first it reports on it. This amount is taken up, say, with duplicate files, for example. I still do not know why I end up with so many duplicates. And then if I wanted to, Clean My Mac will delete some or all of those duplicates, whatever I tell it. It shows you everything. You're never randomly going to lose something. You are always saying, yes, this can go, these can go, no, those must stay. But after a few minutes, Clean My Mac got me back half a terabyte of space on my Mac Studio. It's not like it got that from nowhere. I mean, I really need to manage my storage a bit better. But the thing is that when I needed it, Clean My Mac found precisely what I could delete. It does this for me, and it can do it for you. Get tidy today. Try 7 days free and use my code AppleInsider20, AppleInsider20 for 20% off at cleanmy.com/AppleInsider. And make sure Apple Insider is in all uppercase. And also CleanMy is CLNMY.com/AppleInsider. And thanks to MacPaw, well, for supporting the Apple Insider podcast, but also for helping you get to see it today. I've got to say, I get mixed up over this because I play Sudoku, I go into it and it gives me a message at the top saying there are overlay controls somewhere, but I mean, how many more controls do you need in Sudoku? And then there's Game Center, which doesn't seem to bother me as much. I mean, not bother in the sense that I'm less troubled by it. I mean, it doesn't pop up as often as it used to. And then there's Apple Arcade, which I think I've been into.
I like Game Center. I want more social aspects to Apple games. I like that there's leaderboards. I like that you can do challenges. I like that you can friend people using your Apple ID. I still think Apple needs to make user accounts with usernames. They've shied away from that. You do have an Apple Game Center username, but it's almost irrelevant because you have to know the person, like Apple ID, to get to them, basically. So you can friend people. Like if you're playing the Lego game, it's like Lego Island or something on Apple Arcade, and you encounter a stranger, you can friend them through Game Center while playing that. And then you would then see them in your leaderboards, and you can be complete strangers and be friends in Game Center. And then if you get their contact information, then add them to Apple Contacts, Game Center can link to their contact card, and then you'll see their real name and photo and stuff like that. So there's a lot of interesting integrations here. Apple just needs to make the interface around it better. And Apple games should have been that, but I don't know. It looks more like they just made something and then forgot about it again.
It used to feel like they did that with Pages, but, that's changed a little. Okay, everything gets its time in the sun. We keep thinking Apple has all this money, they can do everything, but there's still finite resources, so it'll come round, probably.
I mean, the refinements to messages and phone and FaceTime are some of the best features they had this year. Just getting all of the spam and promotional materials out of the way, letting me choose to go and see that flyer from Simple Human in my text messages for some reason in a separate category. That is amazing. Like, that is all very smart and well done. I like how the FaceTime redesign emphasizes these video voicemails that no one uses. I think Apple should let us send a video voicemail without having to make a call first. Think of it like this.
I can see some misuse potential there, but okay.
Well, you can still choose to open it or not, obviously.
Oh, true. Okay.
Well, like invites, right? I don't know if you know this, but Apple Invites, you can report an invite.
Okay.
With good reason, because it has a image on there, and if you're getting some unsolicited photos that you didn't want through an invite because you clicked a link, you can report it.
Okay.
So there's no escaping the bad parts of the internet, and that shouldn't ruin it for everyone. But I like the idea of like video voicemail being an option instead of sending a video. Like, how awkward would it be if I just sent somebody a video of me talking to the camera to iMessage as like a, hey, just thinking of you. Like, I mean, I don't know. It would be more of a postcard, I guess, at that point, a video postcard.
Okay. It's faintly creepy sounding. That no reflection on you there, but
no, I'm just saying, like, that's not. I don't want to do that. What I would want is, because the point of video voicemail on FaceTime is you FaceTime someone and they don't answer, and usually there's a reason you're pulling up the camera for FaceTime. Maybe you have a baby with you or a pet or something cute's happening, or you're at a fireworks show. You're trying to show them something usually. So video voicemail lets you basically film what we're intending to call them for and leave it as a voicemail. So when they open their FaceTime app, they're greeted with this video, and it becomes saved to your contact card on that FaceTime app, so you can go open it anytime or delete it. But you have to have missed the call to leave a video voicemail. So I want the option to say, let me just send them a video voicemail showing this thing or showing that I'm thinking of them, knowing they're at work, knowing they're busy. Don't ring their phone. And then the next time they pick it up, they have a nice little video that they can look at. Like, I think that would be adorable. And then it would actually let me have things fill in those video voicemail slots, because no one's using that feature, at least not in my life.
No. So that thing you said there about knowing they're at work, what's the name of that thing you can do on Apple Watches? The intercom thing or something? Completely unusable as far as I'm concerned, because you do not know whether the other person is in a really important meeting or somewhere. And
walkie-talkie.
Walkie-talkie, thank you. What a dreadful idea that was.
Oh, man. You can really ruin someone's day with a walkie-talkie if you want to.
Whereas being able to send a message to a HomePod in the rest of the house, you're in the kitchen cooking and just tell everybody wherever they are, it's like ready. I'm, boiling hot here while you're all enjoying yourselves. Come and eat if you must. Being able to send that kind of message, that I like.
Intercom is great because intercom goes to your phone and your HomePods. That's a separate system. And I'm trying to encourage my wife to use it more, because she will walk all the way across the house, and she likes the trip, to come open my office door and tell me dinner's ready. And it's like, I appreciate that, but you can text me, but you should try the intercom thing. It works anyway.
She's coming to see you, and also apparently she's cooking for you. So that's the
point. Okay. So I don't want to spend too much time on iOS 26. I will say I am very appreciative of the journal app update, allowing multiple journals.
I'd forgotten about that. Yes. That just seems like more journals to have to manage, but, you do you.
I have a 620-day streak in Apple Journal right now.
Right. I think I have a 6-day streak. Yeah. Okay.
I still need to finish moving all my day one entries over. I have 1,000 entries to go through. It's taking some time, but I will eventually do it. They're old entries, so I'm not that worried about it. But at this point, though, I think now I'm about to cross more entries in Apple Journal than I had in day one, so that's pretty cool.
That's a Dear Diary moment. That's a journal moment.
Got to put that in my journal. But to close up iOS 26, I think the biggest story is what didn't arrive, and that was the improved Apple Intelligence with these proactive agents, basically. Where do you stand? How do you feel about this situation?
I keep thinking only of Siri, but there are these other things. There's a bit of me that likes the idea of agents that can actually do things on my Mac. I mean, I have Hazel, which deletes everything out of a certain folder after a certain amount of time. I use renaming things. Have been able to just say, oi, get on with it for me. I want vaguely this, never do it. That appeals to me, but then you hear so many stories of... was OpenClaw deleting everything? It was a story. It was a journalist watching all of his or her work being deleted, and he or she is typing into chemical, stop, don't do this, stop now, stop. And it's ignoring a direct command kind of thing. It's just, I'd like it to be safe first.
There's a reason why people are buying Mac Minis instead of installing OpenClaw on their main computer. So I've been back and forth on this, and I think I've arrived at Apple accidentally walking backwards into multiple delays and not releasing these features is probably the best thing that could have happened to them. Because honestly, had they released the unfinished versions of this back in 2024, 2025, they would have been flayed for it. Way more than just this, we have some media attention about their delays or whatever, but if they had shipped it and it not worked or it done
Right.
harm, it would have been 10 times worse. iPhone would have become the don't buy this, it has the bad AI.
Right.
Don't buy this, it has the feature that makes you miss your mom's flight at the airport. It has the feature that gets contacts wrong or sends messages to the wrong people or interprets things incorrectly, right? Like, it becomes the opposite of what you want. It becomes a feature that drives people away, which you don't want. So the absence of a feature, good or bad, actually worked out in Apple's favor, because now Apple's just selling iPhones on their own merits. It's the best-selling smartphone ever. The iPhone 17 is outselling any other iPhone at this point, and they're having trouble keeping up with demand because AI is sucking up everything else on the planet, chipset and material-wise. So,
although, to be fair, when the Trump T1 phone comes out, Apple should find that less of a problem. Demand will go right down for them, switch over to this. But also, you said about calling the wrong people. 2-3 days ago, I asked Siri to set an alarm for 9 a.m. for something, and it said, "Who do you want to call?" Mm-hmm. So,
but yes. I mean, again, we all want Siri to be better, and that's a whole separate issue. But I'm talking specifically about this on-device intelligence. Now, again, I think we're going to see more of this going into the fall, and Apple is handling it interestingly. They're putting it away behind the dynamic island. You can summon it, and you can change what agents you're interacting with based on apps you have installed using APIs. Apple Foundation models is the backbone of all of this. Private and secure and safe. Like, they're really going at this in a very Apple way, and I'm very excited about it. But the good news is you can just ignore all of it and just keep using your device. And I think that is the biggest thing. There's going to be a toggle in settings that says turn it off, and you might have to turn it off every time you update your phone, but you can turn it off.
This episode is brought to you by Claude from Anthropic. I've been writing a series of detailed articles on AppleInsider about each of Apple's CEOs, from Michael Scott, if you remember him, all the way up to Tim Cook. I think you've heard of that guy. Now, this type of article, of course, takes a lot of research, obviously, and, well, in the end, I can't count the number of sources I ended up using, but for each one, I started with Claude. Specifically this. I started the research for each one by asking Claude to just find all previous AppleInsider articles about each of these people. That's it. Doesn't sound like much, and of course, like I say, it was just the start of the work, gets you going, but Claude found all of these pieces, and I'm afraid Google doesn't. Google was never this good, even with basic searches. Claude is also an AI tool that, I've actually asked for advice about publishers in the US, because I'm in the UK, so all of my publishing knowledge is here. And as a direct result of what Claude showed me, I am now discussing a book deal with a US publisher. Claude gave me specific answers that helped me and that I use. Claude is the AI for minds that don't stop at good enough. It's the collaborator that actually understands your entire workflow and thinks with you, not for you. Whether you are debugging code at midnight or strategizing your next business move, Claude extends your thinking to tackle the problems that matter. For problems worth solving, get started with Claude at claude.ai/AppleInsider. That's claude.ai/AppleInsider. And check out Claude Pro, which has access to all of the features I've mentioned in today's episode. Thank you very much to Claude for supporting the Apple Insider podcast.
Android is doing a different thing. And we saw it. They're in a little bit of a panic. This is the BlackBerry moment when the iPhone launched. I'm seeing repeats of that. I'm seeing Samsung releasing a super thin phone before the iPhone Air, or a cutout display before the notch display comes out. Like, they're reacting in real time to what Apple is doing, which is never a good thing for a competitor. So did you watch this Android show?
Yes, because I knew this was happening, but I didn't realize it had already happened. But you actually, last year, I remember saying there was a show, but you've actually been following the pre-show for
Yes,
it.
this is
Why
the
don't we
Android
just have the
show,
show?
and then next week is Google I/O. This is Google I/O ti mini version Android show. I don't know. They have a name for it. It's Android show. Next week is Google I/O in full, where we're going to learn about Android, whatever number they're on, and it's going to tell us what Android really looks like. But we got a preview of it here. They announced several things. One thing they announced that I wanted to talk about today is Gemini intelligence. You know what that shortens to?
Oh, yes, PI, because it used to be personal intelligence during the beta bit. I know where you were going, and I went a different route there. Yes, the slightly more militaristic angle
No,
on
no,
this.
GI is in GI tract, as in it's a pile of poop. But this
Oh,
is
that means absolutely nothing to me. I thought GI Joe kind of thing, and I don't know what GI stands for.
yeah,
In that, please don't explain what you just said. Okay, leave
GI
me in this
tract, GI
ignorance.
tract, gastrointestinal tract. So
Oh,
the
okay. Well,
yes,
thank you for explaining it, despite my begging you not to. But
I'm
okay,
going to tell you anyway. No, so
yeah,
anyway, Google Intelligence, or I'm sorry, Gemini Intelligence is a
right.
rebranding. I wonder where they got the idea, and it's I need to go back and watch last year and the year before because it feels like we've been promised the on-device proactive agents 3 years in a row now. And they've provided something like this every year. Like I think last year might have been something to do with email, and creating an event based on an email you got or whatever. I don't know.
Mm.
Like it's so lackluster. Like they're going in pitching hard like this is the future of computing, and then they're like, you can scan a concert poster and put it in your calendar. And wait a minute, visual intelligence on iPhone already does that using Google image recognition, by the way. And they announce all these features, and they're coming to two phones in the summer,
Right.
more later. What is going on here?
Well, actually, and it's a side point, but have you tried that scanning of concert posters?
It
Because it does
works.
work.
It's a data detector. Data detectors have been part of iOS for a decade. They're just
Yes.
utilizing it better now and they're using better image recognition basically to draw the details out. But all it is a data detector.
Except it's not as intelligent as it says, because I used it with the Birmingham Rep, the major theatre here where I live, and it put in the name of a play starting tonight and going on for 7 months or something
I
every
love it.
day, every performance, including the matinees. So less useful than I thought, but it's still a
Well,
bit
see, let's be
whizzier.
clear. We don't know how well Google's works either, considering they're
True.
using similar systems to Apple's. Obviously, Gemini Foundation versus, I believe the visual intelligence is using Apple image recognition, and then you can perform a Google reverse image search or
All
send it
right.
to ChatGPT from visual intelligence. So it is a little different, but as I always have to reiterate, when you watch these demos, this is a canned demo in perfect conditions. I even noticed, so we have Dieter Bohn from The Verge presenting, which I find wild. It'd be like if Apple hired me and I'm suddenly on stage presenting an iPhone but I'm talking effusively like I'm doing marketing for Apple now, right? Like that's crazy
I'd watch
that
that, but okay, yeah.
so anyway, and they'll cut away to him interacting with the interface. And I don't know if it's a lag issue, but the hands don't always match
Oh,
between the two videos. Maybe I'm wrong here, but it feels almost like they cut to a different video of him. And anyway, I'm not going to say anything here. You guys go watch it, make your own judgments. But because he at one point he makes the comment, "Wow, that was fast, wasn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah, your canned demo really was fast, wasn't it?" Anyway, I don't know who they're selling this to because let me look at here's I have some list of items here.
okay, cool. I could be up
Okay,
for this. Yeah,
you can
tell me.
search Google Maps by saying Gemini, what's good to eat around here?
Okay.
I feel like that's not even an AI feature. That's just searching a map app anyway. Because when you search Apple Maps, it brings up the restaurants with the most stars and then sorts them.
Yes,
I
I've seen
don't
that.
think you need AI for determining what the best one is. You can add content to your calendar with Gemini. This is a
Right.
10-minute video, and I took notes. This is what I pulled out of it.
This episode is brought to you by Scribe. Every week, there's a new AI for work announcement, but most teams still struggle with a simpler problem. Nobody has time to document how things actually get done. Teams don't struggle to scale because of headcount or budget. They struggle because critical knowledge lives in people's heads. And when it doesn't get documented, people work inconsistently, tools don't get adopted, and that knowledge walks out the door when someone leaves. That's exactly the problem that today's sponsor, Scribe, was built to fix. Scribe is an workflow AI platform that captures any workflow in real time and turns it into documentation automatically. No manual writing, no manual screenshots, no starting from scratch every time someone new joins the team. It's trusted by more than 80,000 enterprises, including nearly half of the Fortune 500. I recently had to train someone on how to edit a particular magazine, which is a very specific workflow. As soon as I looked at Scribe, I realized how much better it would have been if I'd used it. I would have just turned on the extension and done the process the way I normally do, and Scribe would have built the guide as I went, capturing every click, step and screenshot automatically. What previously took hours of writing, recording and cleanup would have been done in under a minute and ready to share. Scribe automatically redacts sensitive information, names, account numbers, emails from every screenshot, and as an admin you can enforce that across your entire team so nothing slips through the cracks. Anyone following that process can launch real-time on-screen guidance that shows them exactly where to click step by step inside the actual tool so those critical processes get done correctly. And Scribe doesn't just document your workflows, it helps you improve them. Once you can see how a process is actually being done, Scribe will suggest improvements to the underlying workflow, highlight redundant steps, show you where people are getting stuck, and point out what could be automated or simplified. It's not just capturing how work gets done, it's helping you do it better. To book a personalized enterprise demo, visit scribe.how/AppleInsider. That's scribe.how/AppleInsider. And thanks to Scribe for supporting the Apple Insider podcast. I must have told you once that Apple Calendar, I dictated into it meeting with this particular person, and I didn't realize it emailed her a link to it, and she'd responded to it. And fortunately, it was an interview, I wanted to meet her, it was great, but the thing right before it, I typed into my calendar, stupid waste of time meeting I've got to attend to. Can you imagine if it had sent that over to all the attendees for it? So, okay, but it was 5-6 years ago, but now it's AI powered, so, okay.
So there's some more. They also said that Gemini, they blame Gemini for this, the poor AI feature. They have turned all of their emoji into 3D objects for some
fantastic
reason.
Great. Oh yeah. Where do I sign up?
I don't really understand why Gemini's being name dropped for this one, but okay. they introduced, let's see, there's a couple of things here. They introduced this, one of the most crazy features I saw was when he scanned the concert poster and added it to the calendar, then said, buy me 2 tickets to this. And it just said purchased. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You gave it access to your credit card information and then just trusted it bought the right tickets without any confirmation or madness to me. What if it bought completely different ticket? How do you know it did it correctly? You can't trust these tools. Again, can demo. We don't know what the interaction actually looks like. Google doesn't want you to either because this is an ad. Then Google is notoriously very dishonest in its ads, but they're not the ones getting sued for some reason.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
So,
yeah.
One other thing they did.
How long I spend searching for the right tickets, which basically means as close as I get to the front of the price I can afford. So yeah, this thing could go buy a box somewhere in a theater.
So the one thing that they mentioned, which I guess this is kind of an interesting tool if it works. They took a photo of a brochure for some event going on, and they said, "Hey, I want to know about this event availability for a table of 6." Cool. All right. Again, this is using basically an open table agent, I'm assuming, that would go and do this for you. It's just the demo made it sound like it was way more fantastical than it was when you actually take it apart and look at it. It's actually very mundane and actually pretty possible with a lot of this stuff going on today. If you have the ChatGPT app, it has attachments to a lot of these services already. But Google is just pitching them as if they're unique to their device, that you need to own a Pixel or a Samsung Galaxy to get this, because those are the 2 phones getting this feature this fall. 2 more, and we can move on. They announced Rambler. So this is a dictation feature where you go to dictation and you start speaking. And then you say a bunch of uhs and ahs and, oh, sorry, no, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say this, actually. And then when you hit complete, it generates what you said without all of the interstitials.
Okay.
I don't know, I guess. I mean, the example they showed was fine. Like, it basically took this long rambling thing and turned it into 2 sentences that was concise. But why can't you just type 8 words yourself? Why did you need an AI? It doesn't, it's a fun party trick for a demo. But when you actually,
a character who speaks like that, it changes the whole character, someone being concise and professional for it. And I don't know how you would tell it, no, I actually meant that interruption.
But you would never type that in the first place, right? Well, you would never type, no. So what is the tool doing other than saving you from typing 6 words, 8 words?
I have noticed, I use Apple Intelligence to transcribe some things, and it will actually edit out swear words for it. And I never asked it to, and I don't want it to. I want what the actual person said. So
that's a function of
muscling in a bit there.
Apple. But, yeah. And finally, just to get to the bottom of the Gemini intelligence list.
This is the one. This was
generative UI.
Right, I know what all the words mean.
Basically, you want a widget. You want a widget that says specific things on your home screen. Okay. Well, you can now generate it using Gemini. But except you're not actually generating it because you're using pre-canned widget styles and combining them, and Gemini just happens to be involved. I'm not really sure what Gemini's doing here, other than maybe searching a widget library and combining them into different objects. And then you have this UI, right? Everyone was freaking out about Android going to liquid glass because Google shared a teaser of the Android bot in this glassy, colorful style. And everyone's like, oh, they're going to go to liquid glass. And the head designer or whoever went on Twitter and was like, "Y'all are crazy. Y'all are wild. We're not doing that." And then they showed the UI from the new Android. William,
No. Is it? Is it? No.
so this
No?
is we'll have to see what IO looks like because we got glimpses of UI here.
Right.
It's not liquid glass, but it is different. And it's different. And the problem is we know that Android is incapable of running liquid glass because their on-device processing wouldn't allow for it while running Android and all the background tasks it has to keep up with. That's why Apple designed liquid glass to be a GPU-driven GUI, right? You can't do it. You can't replicate it on Android, not equally across the board.
Right.
But what they're doing here is glossy and glassy in a way that I was not expecting. There's lights that travel around the edges of menu items as you select them or interact with them, especially when you're dealing with Gemini. We're just going to have to see what this looks like when it's in full beta form. But it's not transparent. It is opaque, but it does have these reflective elements to it that is a little reminiscent, I suppose, of liquid glass.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I was not convinced by any of that. I think I might just stick with the iPhone. But I will wait for. Now, I was going to say I was going to wait for this Google I/O show, but every year it comes around and I don't notice it's on at all. So,
well, let's say, because we need to close up on the Android stuff, but the whole pitch for Gemini Intelligence was, we're here to save you from the tedium so you can get back to doing the creative, enjoyable things. That's the whole pitch of Google's AI platform. But the tedium that they're offering to save you from, a lot of it is kind of required. You have to buy your own tickets, right? You cannot let an agent do that for you. You have to, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what Apple offers here. I would be very surprised if you're not involved in the purchasing process. Now, maybe an agent will go off and get everything set up and get you to the payment screen, and then you double click your side button to
I've
pay.
seen that. Yes.
Like Apple would, like I could see Apple doing that, but just confirming the purchase hands free, no interaction, no way, not going to happen. But this whole idea that Google is saving humanity from the mundane is awkward and weird, and no one asked for this. Even the AI people didn't ask for this. They want tools that make things faster and more efficient, but like they still want to use their devices. They still want to use their phones and do the things they want to do.
People say Apple is grandiose with its magical and stuff, but it's saving humanity from itself. Yeah, okay.
The whole pitch puts Gemini Intelligence in the forefront. It is in your face. You can't escape it. And it's even more in your face on a Google Book. Do you know what a Google Book is?
Actually, no. Should I?
So I think this is... We've been talking about fuchsia, I believe, for at least a decade. And it was this concept
fuchsia,
that...
I am me. Gormangast's coming to my mind more than Google, but...
Google had been rumored to be working on a combination of Chrome OS and Android for the better part of a decade called Fuchsia.
Oh, right.
And it seems we've finally gotten it. It may not be codenamed Fuchsia anymore. It's just what my mind goes to when I hear about this. But it is a combination of Chrome OS and Android running on a laptop. It is the successor to the Chromebook called a Google Book. And I think the reason why they changed the name is simply because everyone who hears the word Chromebook thinks piece of garbage that you stomp on in elementary school, because that's what happens. They buy 800 of them, and then the one key falls off, but instead of replacing the key, they just throw the whole thing in the bin and get a new Chromebook.
Yeah.
Because they are actual just replaceable garbage. The Google Book wants to get away from that name, and it has Google in the name. So the Asus Google Book, right? The Samsung Google Book. is what we're going to end up with. Google is not making these. And when you open it, it has a Windows style start bar dock with icons.
Right.
And you open Android apps into app interfaces, a lot of them tall rectangles that look like phones because they are phone apps. And your cursor is Google Gemini.
I'm sorry? Your cursor is... I don't...
You shake the cursor and you can click on anything to interact with Gemini through the cursor.
Okay.
This is the worst thing I've ever heard. Can you imagine how often you're going to accidentally invoke Gemini just by moving your mouse around your computer?
I see what you mean. Yeah. Far, far more often than I would actually choose to do it. Okay.
So we need to move on, but I just wanted to reiterate, Apple's approach to artificial intelligence is it's there, it's useful, it's out of the way. You don't have to use it, but it's a powerful feature set that we are promoting because we expect you'll get some use out of it thanks to our powerful hardware. Google's approach to artificial intelligence is you better use it because it's the only thing making us money.
Just one thought you popped into my head there when you're saying, you mentioned earlier about how Apple's basically almost waited on AI compared to other people. In the last 2 weeks or so, analysts seem to be converting over to Apple was right. So as we record this, I think Evercore just increased its price target. Wedbush has given Apple its highest ever, a world record price target for Apple, I think $400 per share. But it's both explicitly because of what they're expecting to come next with Apple Intelligence. So maybe it's just a second hype of it, but Apple's no longer seems to be seen as behind. It's doing the right thing, which is, well, good since we're Apple users.
We've been talking about this whole time. Apple's bad, and then Apple's good, and then Apple's bad, and then Apple's good. Because all of these analysts are fair weather analysts. They're on whatever side makes them the most money. And if the consensus is Apple is behind on AI, guess what? Apple's behind on AI, and that's what we're all going to say until it's now a good thing that Apple's behind on AI, because actually this whole time it was a grift. Go back and listen to every episode of this show. I'm telling you, we've been saying this whole time. Apple taking its time on anything, I don't care if it's AI this week, self-driving cars next week, or going to Mars, it will always be a good idea in technology to take your time and get it right. Because that initial launch is everything. And Google recommending glue on pizza will always be there. Right. There's no undoing that.
But you don't think Apple bringing out Apple Intelligence a year or so before it could do anything won't stick the same way?
I don't agree with that. The Apple Intelligence Apple launched did everything it promised.
But not the big thing that sold me.
The
whole
one thing that didn't release.
It was one huge thing. And we're both
I agree.
The same thing,
I agree. It is a huge thing. But I'm just saying, what did come out worked as advertised. We got writing tools. We got a terrible image generator. We got, and they showed us how terrible it was at WWDC. They did not shy away from how bad it was.
Okay, that's true.
But see, they never overpromised in that department. They said what it would do, and it did it. Then they said, "Hey, this is coming later," and they announced the proactive intelligence. Right? That never arrived because they made a mistake in their judgment on having a dual boot ML Siri conversating with an AI model, which was a bad idea. They had to start over from scratch. Other companies have done bigger things and not got sued for it, by the way.
Sure.
But it was a big feature, and I was very excited for it, and I'm still excited for it because it's still coming in a different form, but it's still coming. So I will accept, yes, they did not ship one of the things they announced, but that's not what I'm saying. Everything they shipped worked.
But hang on. Siri got demonstrably, excessively worse. So you're much more gentle about this than I am. They didn't break it and
Yes.
then fix it. They broke it and left it broken for a long time. So
This this this
yeah, they don't get a
this
pass
goes
on
back
all
to
of this.
different. This it's a different topic. Siri is its own thing, and it is a mess. And I agree. Like that is a problem. It should not have been left alone. It should. They are clearly tweaking it live in the background, and it's just not going anywhere until this new system comes out. But when I'm talking about Apple Intelligence, I'm talking about Apple Intelligence, not Siri. They are two separate systems currently. They will soon be one system. But
Yeah.
I'm with you that like Siri is still broken in some ways. I still control my music in my home just fine. I can set a reminder, add an item to a grocery list. Like all of the things that I use it for is still working. But if you ask it any kind of intelligent question, it's probably going to toss it to ChatGPT or give you some weird answer. I agree wholeheartedly with that. But when I'm talking about Apple Intelligence, I'm not talking about Siri, just to make that distinction. But we'll
I'm
see
not with
what
you on the distinction based on how they said it, but I see the point that there are different things.
they are different
Yeah,
things.
I think some of it's unforgivable. Letting it
Oh
be
no,
broken, stay
they should
broken.
not have left Siri broken, considering they're selling entire devices, HomePods, that are meant to work with it, and
Okay.
it's
Yes.
not working the way it should. Like I 100% agree. It's just a different conversation. But let's talk a little bit about OS 27. So I find this funny because there's a little feud going on. I wouldn't call it a feud between Mark Gurman and John Gruber. I don't think it's
Sorry, wait a sec.
new.
A feud going on, but you wouldn't call it a feud. Okay, let's
It's
see where
I
you're
think
taking this on this.
it's happened before, and I think Gruber takes a similar approach to me with Gurman. It's not that we're saying that Gurman is a bad leaker or a bad resource. It's just he doubles down hard on things that he gets wrong and will never, ever, ever backtrack when he gets something wrong or never mention again when he gets something wrong.
That is a Bloomberg requirement. I think it's contractual with them. It
Yes,
sounds
but
harsh. Just look up Chinese spy chips, for
yeah,
example. If
the
you,
big hack.
yeah, that's it. Thank you. The big hack. Yeah,
Someone got promoted for that. So
yeah.
I want to. So I'm. Not, this isn't pick on Gurman Day. It never is. I'm really not trying to attack Gurman. His reporting and his angles, I don't agree with. But again, Gruber is outright saying, yeah, Gurman probably has his resources and his access to Apple, but he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to Apple Vision Pro. And then he listed like 5 stories over the last couple of years that are just wrong about Apple Vision Pro. But Gurman continues to report, probably from the same source, as if those facts are factual. And then the stock market moves. And it's very frustrating
Yeah.
from our point of view because we have to babysit that. We have to deal with that. People come and tell us all the time, Vision Pro's dead. It's not. People are like, why are you talking about a dead platform? So it's frustrating to have to deal with this. But then also, he does get things right, but then we get these reports like this. OS 27 will feature a better Safari, and then they offer, it'll have a new start screen that shows all of the information from your bookmarks and reading lists.
Okay.
I mean, cool, good leak. I mean, I guess we shouldn't complain about a leak, but the leaks this week are just so mundane. I could have made them up. Like,
Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of. Is there's a leak that macOS 27, whatever it's called, will have a slightly refined liquid glass interface. Well, of course it would. Like every year since at least OS 10, so 2000, each one's been a little bit different, a little bit better, and then changed in the next one. It iterates through. So I can't say I was shocked. So I didn't feel that that was really headline news, but
we got
yeah.
one good bit out of 20 things he said in this rumor. And he basically explained we're losing the rainbow effect around the screen for Siri now, apparently. Or
Oh,
maybe
no, I didn't know. I missed that bit. Oh, I like that. Oh,
maybe it's sticking around for some interactions, but it's or all interactions, and it's going to be a combination. But what we do know is that now the new Apple Foundation model powered Siri agent tool thing that you're going to be interacting with, that is going to be treated more as a chatbot, is going to have a house, and it's going to live in your dynamic island. So
Oh,
when you
okay, sorry. Yeah, for one second, I was picturing the old, was it called Apple Link? We had to move around a town to go things. And, okay. But no, you just mean that's where you will turn
it
to the
will,
dynamic island for some.
so a Siri waveform of some kind, we don't know what it looks like, will appear when you summon it from the dynamic island, and you can swipe down on it to get interactive cards to see your query appear in certain ways. Tapping on those cards will open the Siri app and let you enter a full conversation. That's more detail than we've had. It makes a lot of sense. We saw this before, though, kind of. So I go back and watch. I know everyone listening probably hasn't done this in a while. Go back and watch the Apple Intelligent Proactive discussion from 2024 from WWDC. The video they showed. It is all done through the dynamic island, through interactive cards.
Oh, I'd forgotten that. Yeah.
I don't really know what's new here, or maybe Gurman forgot and reported it as new. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a Siri mascot. Maybe it'll be the little finder guy, and he just jumps out of the dynamic island and he's doing a little dance.
Am I just in a bad mood this week? Because everything, Android, Google, it just sounds like no or Apple will convince me it's good. I even got into walkie-talkie at the start, so yeah, okay.
Well, but so here's a few more things. Whether we'll get a conditions pane instead of having to open a separate window, cool. Image Playground is going to get better.
Okay,
cool.
Great.
The search function will be integrated with the toolbar instead of being a separate bubble as it is in the App Store. Cool. There's nothing here to even discuss except, and I've saved the best for last, the camera app is going to get a new design. So we're going to get a fully customizable pro level camera app.
Right. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't one of the people behind Halid join Apple a while ago?
Halide.
Halide, thank you.
Sebastian DeWitt left his company, and it seemed like a little bit of drama because Apple wanted to acquire Halide. The co-founders had a disagreement, so he just joined Apple instead, and that was sad. But Halide's continuing on, and it's doing fine. But Sebastian DeWitt joined Apple's design team, and surprise, surprise, we're already seeing results. Again, this doesn't feel like the biggest leak in the world because we knew Sebastian DeWitt joined Apple back in December. But okay, what's going to happen is your camera app will look the same by default. Nothing will change. But you can go into a widget view and add controls and views to every single function of the camera, like different kinds of like waveforms or readings and controls, aperture controls, all this stuff. Like these things that Halide offers, right, and the Pro Tool, but will be more or less coming to the camera app. I'm interested in this because I'm a big camera user. Yeah. I like doing things from the main camera app, and having more control over my photos sounds like a good deal. I'm excited.
Okay. I just don't think I'll ever use any of that, but you will, and people will. Therefore it's a good thing. I like things that add without getting in the way. If I'd had to relearn how to use the camera app just to carry on doing what I was doing before, then, well, I suppose I'd do it, but this sounds better. If you know the stuff is there. Yeah.
The magic of Apple's camera app has always been how quickly you can go from not having a camera to taking a photo. And Apple will hopefully never mess with that, because Android phones have this problem a lot where you try to get to the camera and it's whatever magic you have to get there. But even once you've launched it, 1, 2, 3, and then the viewfinder appears, and then you can press a button. Like, for whatever reason, there's some processing involved. Not all Android phones do this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a known issue that a lot of Android phones, especially cheaper ones with lower processors, have. Whereas on every iPhone, from the cheapest one from 5 years ago to today, the second you hit that camera control or camera icon, you're in a viewfinder and able to hit the button. Bam. And as long as that doesn't go away, no matter how complex the app gets, that's all I care about.
Yeah. It's one of those things I didn't appreciate because it just always does it. And what else would it do? But now I appreciate it more. Okay.
So, William, you're going to be off to buy an Android phone, probably the Golden Trump phone, correct? After all of this, I've convinced you.
Well, I wish I'd got in before the pre-orders closed. I mean, it was such a tight window, a year, and I didn't quite manage to get in there. So you will see. I suddenly realized I don't know whether, in all seriousness, the Trump phone is probably unlikely to run the new stuff because it comes with Android 15, but that was out last year. So 16 must be out this year. Or it might actually be the other way around. It might be, well, it's not going to be 16 before 15, William, but 16 is plenty old. And so the new one will be 17. And
I don't know the number. All I know is the requirements of the new Android have always been initial rollout goes to the most premium phones and then it trickles down, but you lose features the further you trickle down because the phones can't run them. And some of it's carrier approved and some of it isn't. This is the fractured nature of Android. It's a whole thing versus iOS. On the same day, Apple hits a button and everyone gets it. So not all features go to everything. The new Gemini intelligence is only going to 2 phones at first and will roll out to more later. Sure. I still stand by the idea that this Gemini intelligence stuff is a preparation for Apple finally getting its full AI rollout out this fall, which, if done correctly, on top of the already super popular devices that haven't relied on AI to sell themselves, could be a real problem in some markets, especially in China, as Apple Intelligence rolls out there as well. So we'll see how the next year goes. WWDC is only a few weeks away.
Yeah.
If you want to reach out and let us know what you thought of the show, please do so. You can get to me, hilly.tech, on Blue Sky. You should try the new Indigo app. I'm telling you, it's really good. It actually has an iPad version. And so today, now for work, I have Indigo on one side with Mastodon and Blue Sky, and Tapestry on the other with my RSS feed. And beautiful combination. Y'all should go check out Indigo. But anyway, reach out to me there. Mastodon, Hilly Tech, of course, and Wes at AppleInsider.com is my email. You can email me there. I've been getting some good ones. Someone was asking this past couple of days here about RCS history. And then maybe we'll get to it later. Maybe we'll get into the after show, actually, because we will be talking about green bubbles and Apple's problem there. They wanted to know a bit more about the history behind Apple implementing RCS, why it bothered in the first place, and this whole green bubble controversy. So you'll hear a bit about that there in the Apple Insider Plus, the ad-free experience. But William, where can people find you?
Well, I've got to say, always William at AppleInsider.com is best. But last week, I mentioned I was having this weird slump on YouTube. Instead of 500 new subscribers, I think I ended up with 4. And I don't mean 400. I mean 4 new subscribers last week. But since I mentioned it on the show, things have been picking up again. So thank you very much if you subscribe. 58 keys on YouTube. It's very specific. It's for writers who write on Macs and iPhones and iPads. So, of course, it's not for everybody. But it'd be fun if it's for you and you can join me. But still, getting straight to me, I think I'm on top of emails now. William at AppleInsider.com. Going to regret saying that, I'm sure.
Yeah, so if you want to hear your review on the show, you can leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We don't have any new ones this week, but we always appreciate reading those to everyone. Because good or bad, we love hearing from you guys and what you think about the show. I think that's about it for the week. I'd like to thank our sponsors, once again, Clean My Mac by MacPaw, Claude by Anthropic, and Scribe. And if you don't want to hear about ads, you can join Apple Insider Plus, where you get an ad-free experience. And we're going to be talking about, like I said this week, green bubbles in the post-show. New post-show every week. All for a low fee that you can pay through Apple Podcasts or Patreon. But otherwise, we will talk to you guys next week. And thanks once again for listening.